Hey guys, it's May, and as I told you guys, or at least I talked about in one of my videos, my oldest son is getting married in August. I don't think I told you the date, but he's getting married in August, and we had to make the invitations. So my future daughter-in-law went online and found one that she liked, and we did a little tweaking to it. I'm going to show you both ways you can make it, and then I'll show you which one we went with. But we had to tweak it a little bit to make it work for us, but it's one of those that you've seen recently that's made using really simple stuff, but the feature is doilies. That's the big thing. These are some 4-inch doilies. I bought these at Michael's, and one thing I really like about them is they have a shimmer. Can you see that? So it makes them a little fancy. So here's what we have done. Now I wanted this card to fit into an A2 size envelope, and I wanted it to be fairly flat so it didn't cost us a whole lot of money. So I started by making the insert. Now the insert I created using my Pages program on my Mac. But you could do this with Word. It's real simple, and I'm going to tell you how I did it. What you do is you make a text box the size that you want the text to remain in. Now here's what I knew. I was making a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card, so I needed this to be 4 by 5 1/4 and no bigger. So I just made myself a 4 by 5 1/4 text box, put in my text, and then copied it onto the page. Now I then made sure, and I'm going to show you why, I made sure that these boxes were all touching each other, okay? Nice and snug. And you can see how that left me a wider portion here than here. We're going to have to deal with this wider portion and this wider portion, but that's no big deal. I'm going to show you what we're going to do to take care of that. Okay, so to take care of that, we're going to have to make this sheet an 8-inch wide sheet by 10 1/2 inches. Okay, that way when we cut it down we get a 4 by 5 1/4. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this sheet and put it into my paper cutter at 8 inches first. That's the first cut we're going to make. So that gets rid of 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to put it in, and I'm going to cut off, because my trimmer won't go to past 8. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to cut off 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to go to the 1/2 inch mark, which is right there, and cut. Now what I've done is I've made this so that when I cut it in half, I'll get the right dimension. So now we have an 8-inch by 10 1/2 inch piece of paper. So I just need to move this to 4 inches on this side, and cut. And then I'll just take this to 5 1/4 and cut, and I'll show you that it is right. So now we are right. See how they line up? And they stack up correctly. See that? So I'll do this one on 5 1/4 and cut. And they are right. See that? I may not be lining up well. I hope so. I'm holding them. Anyway, so that's how I got 4 of the printed pieces out of one piece of 8 1/2 by 11 cardstock. I hope that helps and it wasn't too confusing, but if you're not used to using your computer also, maybe this will help you get, in the feel of it. If you need me to do a video and show you how I did that, I'll be glad to do that too. Just let me know. Okay, so notice that I changed things. This is all very generic. Now I'm going to show you how we made the card. Now the first part of the card, I told you I wanted it to fit into an A2 size envelope, so the base is going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So what I did was take a piece of 8 1/2 by 11 paper and cut it in half. And then I just cut that in half again at 5 1/2. So that you get 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 bases for your card. So this is an actual A2 size base. Now notice that I'm cutting a sheet away, so I'm getting 4 out of one piece of paper. That was another thing. We were making these when we wanted to save some money. So I'm getting 4 invitations from one sheet of cardstock that's 8 1/2 by 11. Now all you need for one is you're going to need a insert, you'll need a base, you'll need 2 of your doilies, and some adhesive. Now this is super easy from this point, okay? One thing you have to figure out is where is the widest point on your doily. And the way to do that is just twist it and turn it until you find the widest point you can find. And once you find it on one, it's pretty easy to find it after that. And you may even notice that on this doily, can you see how I kind of have this perfect space to fold back? That's what I'm going to do, is fold it back right there. So I'm going to lay this down and then fold this. Now, so you're just going to run some adhesive here just along the top. Lay that folded doily back in there. You want to look at it from the front and make sure you've got it correct. And you do. Okay. And now we'll do the bottom portion. And I want to show you. You know you have this one right. So now all you need to do is line your other doily up. There we go. So now we know which portion we're going to be using at the bottom, which will be that portion. You just have to do the first one. Get the first one right. Use it as your guide. So then I fold it. Flip this over. Put some adhesive down. Look at it from the front. Make sure it's right. And then close it. Now, see how easy that is? Now we're going to just put more adhesive on the back. What I love is the only waste you have is the 1/2 inch cuts that you take off your white cardstock. Because the rest, there's no waste. You're just going to adhere this down to your base. And now you have a black edge. Okay? And you have the doily that opens up. Now the only other thing I want to stress is you're going to want to score this down to get it to stay in place good. So you're just going to score that. See how much better that stays? Not score it. It's burnish. So burnish that in place like so. And we did one other thing I want to show you. I think is super cute. I'm going to set that to the side. Okay, for your bow. The idea is to get as many bows out of one spool of ribbon as you can. So you want these bows to be the same size. We will put that string between the middle tongs. Take our ribbon. I'm going to start on one corner. Wrap it around. Just like that. So the bow is the width of the serving fork. Okay. Bring this up through the middle. This is where you got to be a little, you know, use your fingers. If you have 2 people, this is much easier because that second person can tie that knot for you. The one in the middle. Otherwise, you'll figure it out. You will figure out how to use your fingers to do this. Tie the second portion on. Cut your strings. And then cut your ribbon. And then slide this off. Isn't that cute? But you're making sure that you're making the same size loops so you're not wasting too much ribbon. Okay? So that's how we did that. Then the last thing we did for these invitations was we adhered a bow right to the top. Now to put the bow on, I'm just going to use a glue dot. Now the night that we made these invitations, I actually went ahead and used a some Tombow, some wet adhesive, but I think looking back I probably would have just used the glue dot. It would have been faster than waiting on the wet to dry. So there's our glue dot and then our bow. Now the bow doesn't actually hold it closed, that's why we want to make sure that we burnish it really well, but then you have this bow in the middle. Now you remember how I told you that you could do this in 2 different ways? The second way is this. Do your text going in this direction. Close these doilies in this way so when they open it, it comes this way. And instead of changing anything here, all you do is leave your glue dot on one flap and then just place the bow going across. So when it's shut, it looks like this, and when it opens, it looks like this. Pretty easy, right? It's simple. The hardest part really was tying the bow for us. We had to tie about 200 of them. So we had 2 groups of people working on bows, which worked really well. I mean, we got them done. And so there you go. That's a simple little invitation. It's really not hard. The hardest part is probably doing the print. The rest comes together real easy. You just kind of do it in an assembly line and you get a cute little invitation. And that's what we did. And we put it in an A2 size envelope. So here's an A2 envelope that we just bought pre-made ones. That saved a lot of time too. You don't want to sit and make envelopes if you can keep from it. And you just slide it in there. So see, it's fairly flat. It shouldn't be hard to mail, but you get some cute dimension whenever you pull it out with that bow. So there you go. That's our wedding invitation, and I'm going to bring you guys along as we do some other stuff and let you see what all's going on. So I hope that helps you if you're planning something soon that you need an invitation for, or a cute thank you card, anything with these doilies. Doilies are really popular right now, so there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.